7 signs God is testing you before he blesses you. When everything crumbles and your back's against the wall, stand firm, for God is forging your faith. Delay is not denial, it's divine preparation cloaked in silence. The people who walk away weren't meant to go with you to your blessing. If the pressure feels unbearable, it's because your purpose is becoming unstoppable. Remember, God's greatest blessings are always preceded by his heaviest tests, so keep walking. 1. Everything in your life suddenly feels delayed or stagnant. 2. You're losing people you thought were permanent. 3. Unexpected hardships show up one after another. 4. You're being asked to step outside your comfort zone. 5. You feel alone, even when you're surrounded. 6. Temptations and distractions increase suddenly. 7. You're being pushed to trust without having all the answers. When everything in your life suddenly feels delayed or stagnant, it's not always a sign that you're doing something wrong. It could very well be a sign that you're being tested before a major breakthrough. You see, when God is preparing to bless you in ways you've never imagined, he often begins by putting your patience, your faith, and your persistence to the ultimate test. Life slows down, plans fall apart, and things you thought would happen instantly take far longer than expected. The doors that once opened easily now seem sealed shut, and opportunities that once flowed naturally seem to dry up without explanation. This period of delay can feel suffocating, like you're stuck in a waiting room with no idea when your name will be called. But what most people don't realize is that this waiting season isn't wasted. It's where your strength is refined. God is not punishing you with delay. He's positioning you for destiny. He's testing your ability to remain faithful when there's no visible evidence of progress. Anyone can be optimistic when everything is going well, but can you still believe when there's no proof, no reward, and no recognition? That's the real test, because delay demands that you dig deep, not into your plans, but into your purpose. It's meant to peel away distractions and help you see clearly what really matters. When your plans stall, when your goals don't materialize on your timeline, when nothing seems to move forward, it's often because God is protecting you from rushing into something that's not yet ready, or maybe even something that could destroy you if given too soon. There's a blessing in the delay, even if it's uncomfortable. Sometimes he holds you back because he's aligning everything ahead of you. The right people, the right timing, the right opportunities, they all need to be in place so that when he opens that next door, you're walking into favor and not failure. Think about how many times in your life you were frustrated by delays, only to realize later that those same delays saved you from something you couldn't see. God sees what you don't. He's not just watching your path, he's shaping it. But here's the part that many people miss. During this delay, your character is being tested. Are you going to give up just because it's taking longer than you hoped? Are you going to complain, compare, or compromise your values just to get ahead? Or will you stay rooted in your purpose, trusting that God hasn't forgotten you? You see, the delay is not denial, it's development. It's in these seasons of stillness that your spiritual muscles are built. You learn endurance, humility, and how to surrender control. And believe me, once you master patience, the blessing that follows will feel even more powerful because you'll know you didn't get it by luck. You got it by faith. The truth is, if God gave you the blessing before you were ready, you might ruin it or walk away from it. So he lets you sit in the waiting room, not to frustrate you, but to fortify you. He's stretching your capacity to receive more, to handle more, and to appreciate more. Don't be fooled by how quiet it seems right now. Silence doesn't mean absence. Just because you don't see results doesn't mean God isn't working behind the scenes. Every moment of delay is an invitation to deepen your trust, sharpen your focus, and prepare your heart. Remember, Every champion was once tested in private before they were celebrated in public. Your delay is proof that something worth waiting for is on its way. Don't quit 5 minutes before your miracle shows up. Don't let frustration rob you of the faith you've been building. Stay the course, because when God tests you with delay, it's only because He's about to trust you with something far greater than you imagined. Keep walking, keep believing. The blessing is not being denied, it's simply being perfected. You're losing people you thought were permanent, and while it may feel like heartbreak, betrayal, or confusion right now, it's actually one of the clearest signs that God is testing you before He blesses you. Think about it. Sometimes the people you were once closest to begin to drift away, not because you did something wrong, but because they've served their purpose in your life. We hold on tightly to relationships, thinking they're forever, but God, in His infinite wisdom, knows who can go with you to the next level and who can't. So when people start walking away, when connections fade without closure, and when you find yourself wondering why someone you trusted no longer shows up for you, it's not rejection, it's redirection. God isn't punishing you by removing them. He's protecting you. Some folks are only assigned to your past season, not your future, and the higher He plans to take you, the lighter your load must become. That includes emotional weight, old patterns, and yes, people. You see, blessings don't just require space in your schedule, they require space in your spirit, and some of the people you're crying over were taking up room that your blessing now needs. It may not make sense right now, especially if those people were part of your daily life, part of your dreams, or part of your identity. But when God begins the pruning process, He removes what's unnecessary so that what's meant for you can flourish. Imagine trying to carry everyone into a room that was designed only for you. You'd break the walls before you ever stepped into your breakthrough. That's why He allows certain exits to happen quietly, even painfully. Because in that separation, your strength is being tested. Can you still walk with purpose when the crowd you leaned on is no longer cheering? Can you still believe in your vision when the ones who once believed in you have fallen silent? These are not easy questions to face, but they are necessary because your faith must be rooted in God, not in people. Letting go doesn't mean you're bitter. It means you're brave enough to trust God's plan even when it hurts. And the truth is, if those people were meant to stay, they wouldn't have left. Sometimes their absence is the gift. It clears the noise, sharpens your perspective, and teaches you how to depend on God and not human approval. It's in these lonely seasons that you discover your true worth, your real voice, and your divine assignment. Many times, the people who walk away are the ones who would have questioned or even sabotaged your blessing had they stayed. God sees what you can't, hears what you don't, and knows what's coming long before you do. So when He removes someone, don't chase. Pause, breathe, trust. This is a test of your loyalty to the future He's preparing, not to the past you're grieving. When God begins to isolate you, it's not to punish you. It's to elevate you. Think of every person that left as a part of your shedding, not your shattering. You are not falling apart. You are falling into place. And what God is doing in your life now requires solitude, clarity, and alignment. Not everyone can handle the calling on your life. Not everyone has the heart, the character, or the strength to walk the road you're walking. So, He removes them before you arrive. It might feel like abandonment, but it's divine editing, because God never subtracts without a purpose. He subtracts to multiply. If you've been experiencing unexpected goodbyes, understand this. He's not trying to break you, He's trying to bless you. And before He blesses you publicly, He tests your ability to survive privately. So let go with grace. Cry if you must, but don't cling. Release the need to understand everything right now. Some answers will only make sense once you've arrived at the blessing. In time, you'll look back and realize that their exit created the space for someone better, something greater, and a purpose much bigger than you imagined. What feels like loss is often just the start of legacy. Keep walking, keep believing. God's not just removing people. He's making room for promise. Unexpected hardships show up one after another, and just when you think you've caught your breath, another wave hits. This isn't just bad luck or coincidence. This is often one of the clearest signs that God is testing you before He blesses you. It feels like the storms are endless, like you've been thrown into a battlefield without armor, fighting battles you never asked for and carrying weights you didn't sign up to lift. Every day brings a new problem. Finances start crumbling, relationships get strained, your health may falter, or your peace gets disturbed, and it all seems to happen at once. But what if I told you this chaos has a divine purpose? That behind every setback is a setup, and behind every hardship is a hidden preparation for a blessing you can't yet see. God doesn't send problems to punish you. He allows pressure to prepare you, because before He can trust you with more, He must first see how you respond to less. Will you give up when the going gets tough, or will you dig your heels in and fight for your future? Hardships reveal what's in you. They bring your true character to the surface. When everything is falling apart, that's when your faith is really measured, not when things are easy. Anybody can trust God when life is smooth, but when you're waking up to tears and going to bed with questions, when nothing makes sense and you're surrounded by disappointment, that's where real trust is born. Each hardship, though painful, is shaping something in you. It's breaking pride, stretching patience, teaching endurance, and building resilience. You may feel like life is attacking you, but really it's sculpting you. Diamonds aren't formed in calm. They are created under intense pressure, and so is your destiny. God allows certain storms not to destroy you, but to strip away what's no longer needed so that you emerge stronger, wiser, and more prepared than ever before. If you're facing hardship after hardship, know that you're being refined, not rejected. There's a blessing on the other side of this test, but you've got to make it through the fire first. And let me tell you, fire never feels good, but it purifies, it cleanses, and it prepares. Some of the greatest blessings in life come wrapped in discomfort. It's not that God isn't with you. It's that He's walking beside you through the storm, letting you learn how to depend fully on Him. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. The very things that are trying to break you are actually building you for what's coming. Pain has a purpose even when you don't understand it. Every hardship carries a lesson, a layer of wisdom, a hidden push to move you closer to your purpose. When doors close, when friends leave, when resources dry up, and when plans fall apart, sometimes that's exactly what has to happen to force you into the direction God wants you to go. He knows that without discomfort, you might settle. Without the struggle, you might stay stuck, so He allows pressure to push you forward. Don't mistake this season of hardship as abandonment. See it as an invitation to grow, to stretch, and to rise. You're not losing, you're learning. You're not being broken, you're being built. You may not understand why it's all happening, but trust that it's leading somewhere greater. God doesn't waste pain. He transforms it. That pain you're carrying is proof that you're alive, that you're being prepared, and that something powerful is being born inside you. Keep going, even when it hurts. Keep walking, even when the path is unclear. The hardship is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your breakthrough. And when the blessing comes, and it will, you'll look back and realize that every tear, every sleepless night, and every setback was necessary. You'll understand that God wasn't ignoring your cries. He was building your capacity. He was testing your faith, not to watch you fail, but to prepare you for favor. So if you're in the middle of a storm right now, hold your head up. Don't let the waves of hardship drown your hope. Stand in the rain with courage, knowing the sun is just beyond the clouds. You're not being buried, you're being planted, and soon what felt like pain will blossom into purpose. Keep the faith, the blessing is coming. You're being asked to step outside your comfort zone, and while everything in you wants to cling to what's familiar, safe, and predictable, this sudden push into the unknown is often one of the strongest signs that God is testing you before He blesses you. Comfort zones feel good. They're where your routines live, where things make sense, where risk is low and control is high. But growth never happens there, and neither do miracles. God rarely calls people to comfort. He calls them to courage. So when life starts nudging you towards something unfamiliar, when you're being asked to stretch beyond your current skills, leave behind old ways, or embrace opportunities that scare you, that's not a random coincidence. That's divine orchestration. God is preparing you for something far bigger than your current surroundings, but to step into it, He needs you to trust Him more than your own understanding. He needs you to believe in what He sees for you, even when you can't yet see it yourself. The uncomfortable feeling you're battling right now, that tension, that fear of the unknown, that voice saying you're not ready, it's all part of the test, because true faith begins where your comfort ends. It's easy to follow God when the path is clear, but what about when He asks you to walk in a direction you've never gone before? What about when He tells you to speak when you'd rather stay silent, to move when you'd rather stay still, to lead when you'd rather follow? That's where faith is formed, in the moments when you choose purpose over preference. When God starts calling you out of your comfort zone, it's because He's trying to show you who you really are, not who you've settled into being, but who He created you to become. You're not meant to live in the shadow of your potential. You're meant to shine in the fullness of your purpose, but you can't get there without being stretched. You can't grow into that next level of success, influence, or blessing if you're still clinging to what was. Think about it. Every great person you admire, every story of triumph you've ever heard, it all began with a step into the unknown, a risk, a moment where fear and faith collided, and faith won. God isn't trying to intimidate you with change. He's inviting you into transformation. But He can't take you where you won't go willingly. That's why He makes the old place uncomfortable. That's why He starts removing your options and shutting down your excuses, because He knows the blessing is waiting on the other side of your obedience. And the very thing you're afraid to do might be the key that unlocks everything you've been praying for. So yes, it's scary. Yes, it requires courage. But that's the point. If it didn't scare you a little, it wouldn't grow you at all. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, you're proving to God and to yourself that you're ready for more impact, more opportunity, more favor. The comfort zone may feel safe, but it's also where dreams go to die. God loves you too much to let you stay stuck in small thinking, small living, and small faith, so He shakes things up. He whispers bigger visions in your heart. He places dreams in you that won't let you sleep. And even when you resist, He keeps pulling, keeps prompting, because He knows what's inside you is greater than what's behind you. You were never meant to play it small. You were never meant to stay hidden. The discomfort you feel is not punishment, it's preparation. God is preparing you to walk into rooms you once felt unqualified for, to speak to people you once thought were out of reach, to do things you once believed were impossible. And that shift won't come through comfort, it will come through courage. So if you feel like you're being pushed into unfamiliar territory right now, don't panic. Praise, because it means God sees something in you that's ready. It means the blessing is so close. He needs to stretch your mindset, your faith, and your willingness to obey. Don't resist the stretch. Don't retreat to safety just because growth feels scary. This test is temporary, but the reward is eternal. Step out, say yes, move forward. The comfort zone won't bless you, but obedience will. Opportunities are being delayed or denied, and even though you're doing everything right, praying, working hard, staying consistent, doors that should have opened remain shut, and it feels like your progress has been paused. But what if I told you that this isn't failure, it's a test, and it's one of the clearest signs that God is preparing you for something far greater than you expected? When doors don't open when we want them to, our natural instinct is to question our worth, our timing, or even God's presence. But here's the truth. Delays are not denials, and sometimes the silence is the setup. You might feel forgotten, but you're actually being hidden for a reason, for a season, for refinement. God isn't ignoring your prayers. He's working behind the scenes, orchestrating something bigger than what you were reaching for. You see, God's blessings come with weight, with responsibility, with purpose, and He won't place a blessing on you that your character can't carry. So before He hands it over, He tests your patience, your endurance, your faith under pressure. He delays what you desire to deepen what you believe. If every opportunity opened the moment you knocked, you'd never develop trust. If every yes came without a wait, you'd never learn the power of perseverance. God delays opportunities not to tease you, but to train you, to sharpen your discernment, to clear your path from the wrong people, to position you so perfectly that when the door finally opens, no one can shut it. That pause you're experiencing, it's not punishment, it's preparation. Sometimes you're being protected from stepping into something too soon. You might have been praying for a new level, but God knows that if He gave it to you prematurely, it would crush you instead of bless you. He loves you too much to let you succeed unprepared. That's why the job didn't come through. That's why the relationship didn't last. That's why the opportunity fell apart at the last minute. Because had it worked, it would have led you down a road that wasn't meant for your destiny. Every closed door is a divine no that makes space for a greater yes. Every delay is a divine pause, not to stop you, but to strengthen you. Think about the seed buried in the ground. It's surrounded by darkness, completely hidden, not because it's dead, but because it's being prepared to grow. And just like that seed, you may feel like nothing's happening, like time is being wasted, but trust this, God wastes nothing. That time you're spending in waiting is the time He's using to align the right people, the right place, the right moment. The blessing is already written. It's just not yet revealed, and while you wait, you're being tested on how you handle the silence. Will you still believe when nothing seems to move? Will you still show up when nothing's showing up for you? This is where your spiritual muscles are built, not in the wins, but in the waiting. If God gave you the blessing today, would you have the discipline to keep it? Would you have the wisdom to manage it? Would your heart be humble enough to handle the spotlight, or would pride take the wheel? These are the questions that get answered during the delay. So don't let a closed door convince you that you're not chosen. Don't let a delayed promise make you doubt God's plan. Every great story includes a waiting season, and what separates those who receive the blessing from those who miss it is what they choose to believe during that season. Choose to believe that God's timing is perfect, even when it doesn't match your calendar. Choose to believe that He's not late, He's strategic, that what looks like a missed opportunity is actually divine redirection. That when He says not yet, He's not being cruel, He's being careful with your destiny, so don't grow weary in the waiting. Stay faithful, stay hopeful, keep preparing as if the opportunity will knock tomorrow. Because when it does come, and it'll be bigger, better, and more beautiful than anything you imagined, and in that moment you'll understand why every delay was worth it, why every tear you cried was watering something unseen, why every no was protecting your yes. You'll see that God never denied you. He was just taking His time crafting something tailor-made for your purpose. So if things aren't moving right now, don't panic. Don't quit. The test is in the delay, and the blessing is in the making. Keep going, keep believing, the door will open right on time. You feel isolated, like God has pulled people away from you, like suddenly you're walking a path you once walked with others. But now it's just you, your thoughts, and your faith. And let me tell you that loneliness you're feeling isn't punishment. It's one of the clearest signs that God is testing you before He blesses you. It's hard, I know. It hurts when the people you relied on suddenly disappear, when friends stop checking in, when your support system grows quiet, and when the phone doesn't ring like it used to. But don't rush to fill that silence. Don't panic when you're left alone. Instead, understand that divine isolation isn't rejection. It's refinement. See, God has a way of removing distractions when He wants your undivided attention. When a major shift is coming, when a blessing is near, when transformation is underway, He doesn't let the noise of the crowd drown out His voice, so He separates you. He pulls you into a quiet space, not to hurt you, but to prepare you, to speak to you, to stretch you in ways that only isolation can. Because in the silence, you start hearing what really matters. You start facing things you ignored while you were surrounded. You begin recognizing which relationships were built on purpose and which were built on convenience. God knows that where He's taking you, not everyone can go. And while you might be grieving the absence of certain people, you have to trust that if they were meant for your next chapter, they wouldn't have been removed in this one. The pruning always comes before the blooming. When God is about to elevate you, He trims away what's no longer helping you grow, and sometimes that includes people you love. The truth is, not everyone has the strength to grow with you. Not everyone can handle the pressure of your calling. And not everyone has the faith to walk beside you in uncertain seasons. That's why God isolates you, not to abandon you, but to align you. He's teaching you how to stand without applause, how to believe without backup, how to walk when you feel empty-handed. He's strengthening your core so that when the blessing comes, your foundation doesn't crack. He's showing you that your value doesn't come from who surrounds you, but from who created you, and that's a powerful lesson you only learn in solitude. When you're alone, that's when God reveals the most. He starts unlocking visions, planting dreams, restoring your confidence, sharpening your discernment. You begin to hear His voice more clearly because the distractions are gone. You start to see yourself through His eyes, not through the filters of other people's opinions. You discover what real faith looks like, not the kind that leans on others, but the kind that stands on its own. And let's be honest, it's in the wilderness that true leaders are made. It's in the quiet where purpose is birthed. Every great transformation begins with isolation. Think about it. Jesus went to the wilderness before His ministry. Joseph was thrown in a pit and a prison before he entered the palace. Moses wandered in the desert before leading his people. Paul was blinded and left alone before he became the most powerful voice in the New Testament. Time and time again, we see that God pulls people away before He pushes them forward. So if you're feeling alone right now, don't see it as a setback, see it as a signal. God is doing something in you that requires your full attention. He's removing the voices that watered down your vision. He's clearing the space so He can pour into you directly. He's hiding you for a season so that when He reveals you, it's undeniable that the elevation came from Him. Let this isolation refine your faith, not weaken it. Let it anchor your identity in Him, not in popularity, not in affirmation, not in crowds, and don't rush to escape the solitude. Embrace it. Use this time to grow, to heal, to listen. Because soon the doors will open, the right people will appear, the connections will make sense. But when that blessing comes, you'll be ready. You won't be depending on anyone to validate your worth, because you'll already know who you are. That's what isolation does. It builds unshakable confidence in God's voice and in your own calling. So if God has you in a season of solitude, thank Him. He's not punishing you. He's protecting your process. He's removing what's weak so He can build what's strong. This test of isolation is temporary, but the blessing that follows will last a lifetime. Keep walking, keep trusting. You're not alone. You're being aligned. Everything is falling apart around you. Your plans are crumbling, your routine's been shaken. What once felt stable now feels uncertain, and even though it feels like chaos, this may actually be one of the most powerful signs that God is testing you before He blesses you, because sometimes God allows everything to break down so He can rebuild it His way, not yours. You see, when you're holding tightly to a life you created, a path you mapped out, a plan you thought was perfect, and suddenly all of it starts falling through your fingers, it's not always a sign of failure. It's often a sign of divine intervention. God knows that what you've built on your own strength may not be strong enough to carry what He has in store for you. So before He hands over the blessing, He tears down the weak foundation to pour a stronger one beneath your feet. And let's be honest, it doesn't feel good. Watching your goals unravel, your relationships end, your finances shake, or your health take a turn can leave you asking, why now? Or what did I do wrong? But what if the breakdown is actually the beginning of the breakthrough? What if this chaos is God clearing the clutter so you can see what truly matters? You might be trying to fix what's falling apart, but God is trying to fix you through it. He's not being cruel, He's being strategic. He knows that comfort can become a cage, success can become a distraction, and routines can become rituals that keep you stuck in a version of life far smaller than the one He planned for you. So when He allows the storm to shake everything up, it's not to destroy you, it's to develop you. Because storms reveal what's real. When the wind blows and the ground shakes, you discover what's truly rooted in faith and what was built on sand. That's why He tests you in the fire, because only the fire can burn off what doesn't belong. Only pressure can produce diamonds. Only shaking can awaken the parts of you that were sleeping. And only total surrender can prepare you to receive a blessing you can't control. You might feel like everything is collapsing, but in God's eyes, everything is being positioned. He's removing what no longer serves you, what's weighing you down, what's blocking the blessing. And yes, it hurts. Yes, it feels unfair. But would you rather have a comfortable life that limits you or a blessed life that grows you? God is not interested in maintaining your comfort. He's committed to expanding your capacity, so He'll allow the storm, He'll let things be taken, He'll permit the unexpected twists and turns not because He's punishing you, but because He's preparing you. And the quicker you stop resisting the breakdown, the sooner you'll begin to see what's being rebuilt in its place. Faith isn't about holding everything together, it's about trusting God when everything falls apart. It's easy to say you believe when everything is going right, but what about when the job is gone, the dream is delayed, the phone is silent, and the plan has failed? That's when real faith shows up, not when life is predictable, but when life is unrecognizable. And if you can still trust God in the middle of the mess, you're passing the test. He's watching your response. Will you panic or praise? Will you doubt or declare? Will you give up or grow up? Because every blessing that's ever come into someone's life was first preceded by a breaking. Before the new comes, the old has to go. Before resurrection, there's a cross. Before the crown, there's a crushing. You are not being buried. You are being planted. And this pain, this disruption, this confusion is not the end. It's the start of something you can't even imagine yet. So don't curse the breakdown, don't fight the change, embrace it. Trust that if God allowed it, it's necessary. If He took it, He'll replace it. If He broke it, He'll build better. And when the dust settles and the new season begins, you'll realize that what felt like the end was actually the beginning. You'll be stronger, wiser, deeper, and more aligned with your purpose than ever before. So, take a breath. Wipe your tears and lift your head. The breakdown isn't your burial. It's your birth into a blessing that's been waiting for you all along.